Well, what's up, folks? It is Thursday night, or Friday evening, Thursday night for those who like to keep track of the days of the week. And yes, it is about 93 degrees down here in Tampa, Florida, which summer has arrived and does not leave until late November. So if those who don't like the hot weather down here, you can always make a short hop, skip, and a jump back up north and enjoy the cool temperatures because it will get hot everywhere here momentarily. But nevertheless, speaking about getting hot, we have one of the best guys that we can ever think of having on the show, not only because of the heat that he brings during the Eagles season, but the heat continues even during the offseason. And yes, we're talking about Dave Spadaro, the Eagles Insider, and you guys can follow him on social media. Also, find his best work at PhiladelphiaEagles.com. And I've been thinking for a while, what good song would be for Dave and for the entire city. And yes, we'll even do another song for him. But I'm kind of thinking, what would be good? And the only reason why I'm bringing this up, because there's going to be another point too, where it's going to make sense on ones for the children, the parents, the teachers, for Robb Elementary School down here in Texas. As we enjoy to have fun tonight, we also got to remember the fallen. And just as school is coming to a close, the last thing that you want is to see your child not live their full life. So we will take a moment once we bring the entire gang here on the screen. But again, if you guys are just joining in, Dave Spadaro will be with us here momentarily as we plan to have fun with him, with Ryan. And I do see Aaron Bell coming back as well, even though we normally talk Sixers talk with Aaron. But tonight, he's an Eagles fan because that's what we're talking this evening. So with all that being said, it is episode 137. I'm Angel, and welcome to Broad Street South. And yes, we know him as the Godfather, but it's not the really real Marlon Brando, but it's the next big thing. It is Mike Fuji, the Godfather. One day, just one day, when that camera turns the other way, everybody's going to see you dancing and put your arms in the air. Fuji, what's going on tonight? How are you, sir?
Happy Friday Eve to everyone. Angel, how are you? Dave Spadaro tonight. Let's get this Eagles show rocking. 105 days to kick off. Let's get it going. How are you?
I'm doing just fine down here in Tampa, Florida. Well, we are celebrating another round to the Eastern Conference Finals with the Tampa Bay Lightning. I know that's not what you want to hear, but hopefully the Flyers will get themselves in a situation finally to get back there other than gritty, because it seems like the only money they're spending on is just on a goofy mascot. But whatever, that's what the Flyers do. But speaking of goofy mascots, which he isn't a goofy mascot, but he is from the cheap seats, it is Ryan Neff. Ryan, how are you?
I'm Ryan Neff. It's great to be with you this evening. Fuji, Angel, Dave Spadaro tonight. Let's get into the crux of the Eagles and what's going on.
Yes, sir. And there's going to be plenty of it. And also from the host of Open Gym Podcast, the man, the rice for Philadelphia SN, and always on the move, it is Aaron Bell. Aaron, welcome back to the show. Now becoming a staple part of the show here.
Hey, man, what's going on? I'm just glad to be back. You know, I know I'm not here talking Sixers. I'm just here as a fan, as an observer. Dave Spadaro tonight, Eagles fan. You see the banner in the back. I'm ready to go. What's going on, fellas?
Doing good, thanks.
All right.
Now, as I bring the man here to the main stage, I guess, even though we are on camera. But before I do that, as I do with everyone else, and I want to bring up the social media here, because you guys can follow Dave Spadaro. And as you can see, he doesn't follow many people, but you know why? Because he keeps it professional, and he keeps it where he makes sure he keeps his friends closer and his other friends, not like the Cowboys, even closer than that. But with that being said, it is Dave Spadaro. You guys can follow him at Dave Spadaro, also at Eagles Insider, as I flip over to this side here. So you guys do not miss a thing, as we do, as we follow both here on social media. So you guys don't miss a thing from the Philadelphia Eagles. And if you can't get enough of that, well, just switch on over to PhiladelphiaEagles.com. And momentarily you will see Dave's picture coming up here, because again, the man burns the oil at both ends. On season, off season, it's just incredible. And it's the first time that I will say that we've ever had any kind of welcome music. So I'm going to take away from this screen at the moment. I'm going to load something up here, because you normally hear this at the link. But I thought, how appropriate is it that we could have it for the man himself, Dave? So let me switch. He said doesn't get you fired up. I don't know what will. And by the way, Dave doesn't know, but this was actually recorded live at the link, and it was for Dave when the Eagles won the Super Bowl. And speaking about the man himself, here he is, Dave Spadaro. Dave, how are you this evening?
I'm great, Angel. Hey guys, thank you for having me on. Walk-up music, I've never had that before, so I'm ready to go, man. I like Fuji's off the chain, so I'm ready to catch up to Fuji with his energy. I think it's awesome. Thank you guys for having me on. I'm glad you support Philadelphia sports and the Eagles all around the country, and it's so cool, man. And I really am very honored to be here. So let's get it rolling, man. Let's talk Eagles.
Yes, indeed. And like I said in the very beginning here, I want to mention two things before we get the show rolling and getting Fuji fired up, because again, his best friend Harry Rosen might be calling in tonight, so we're going to save that one. But we want to remember not only obviously the kids, the parents, the teachers from Robb Elementary. So I want to put that up there as their hashtag up there from Robb Elementary School. Also for Katie Navarro, who they are going to have a fundraiser for her. Also a huge Eagles fan. So if you guys don't mind, take about 2 seconds here for both to recognize, unfortunately, things that we don't want to see in life, but it's a part of life. So 2 seconds here for both Katie and for Robb Elementary School. And if you go to the website as well, you see, and matter of fact, to make it easier here, because they did open up a fund for the school itself. So if you guys see it right there on your screen, you see isd.net/Rob. They did open up a fundraiser and also a donation, because it's the unfortunate thing to have to bury 22 people, and especially 7, 8, and 9-year-olds. Any life is too much to lose. But if you guys can, go to our website, make the donation what you possibly can, and make it a little bit easier on the school, which they have a lot to deal with. And it's sinful to think exactly what ended up happening. But again, it's a crazy world that we live in. But now, I do want to bring up the very first thing, other than other things, and I'll bring up the reason why I brought up Daft Punk a little bit earlier. But there is a particular note, Dave, from what I understand, that hangs somewhere either around your desk and or somewhere around your, I'll call it a locker, because you have to have one down here with the Eagles organization. But I believe this looks familiar to you.
Yeah, that's in my office. That was Kevin Cooney said that back in like 2000, I guess, early 2000s, thinking that, I would have, as a team guy, I would have so much influence that you really wouldn't get the real story about the Philadelphia Eagles. So it was really one of the greatest things anybody's ever said about me. I had it, prepared and put it on my wall, and I love it. So if I'm a threat, please. All my job is to keep Eagles fans excited and get the message from the team out. And I've been doing it for a long, long time. I love it. And I mean, if that's a threat to Kevin, hey, and to journalism, then it's shame on them. But I don't think it's turned out to be that way. It's actually been so much super fun, and win, lose, or draw, I know that Eagles fans are so hungry for anything they can get about the football team and the message they can get from the team, and that's my job, is to deliver it in a variety of ways, whether it's podcast or social media. By the way, my Instagram is my best social media, the Eagles Insider, and at games, at events. That's where I met y'all at an event we had a couple of weeks ago at the stadium.
Right.
No, listen, again, Dave, the difference is though, is that and we hear many broadcasters, don't get me wrong, a lot of guys who end up working with different teams with the NFL. I think the difference between you and me, what Kevin was relating to as well, is that you actually do your homework. You do your due diligence. Like, you find out everything that you need for the fan. And I know you being a fan of the Eagles themselves, and I for me, I would say especially that we're grateful that you are part of the Eagles organization because you bring the facts and the way you talk about this team. No matter how either good they're doing or how bad they're doing, you always find that happy medium in between to make sure that you're not showing, you could come on and people can, we always hear the word homer. You could always come on and say something like, oh, this team sucks or this happens like this, but you always find a way to put things so eloquently that even when the Eagles are at their worst, you find a way to find them at their best. So I want to thank you for doing that because, again, when we follow your articles, when we follow your game day specials, everything that you do, it's so uplifting because you don't, to us, it doesn't seem like you try hard. It's a natural thing. And it's hard to see that from broadcasters.
Well, thank you, Angel. And believe me, I've been called a homer and many things worse over the years. And I do recognize that as we took that moment of silence that, we're talking about football and it's entertainment and it's fun. And that's the way I've always treated it. So I really enjoy my thing. My gig has been great. Hope to do it for many more years and hope we can celebrate one more time starting in 2022.
Well, there's a video that I'm going to play a little bit later on. I'm going to kind of let the round table here go around with as far as their questions, but there's a video I want to play later on. And the reason why I'm playing this, and my producer was over in the next room, by the way, we are live from the LG Direct Sales Solutions Studios here in Tampa, Florida. She might go a little bit nuts because the last time we played it, it had a couple of hiccups. Hopefully this time it won't. But I will say this much. You are one of the guys that I wish that I was next to when the Eagles won it all, just because, again, how you bring this team so far forward for everyone that I would love to have been right next to you celebrating with the birds and everyone else. So tonight, I guess I can end up reliving that moment back in Super Bowl 52 and then play the video so we can all enjoy it here and just have the one last time before the Eagle season gets underway. But I will start out with this one here. Jalen Hurts, and we hear this over and over and over again, and it doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. You keep hearing from different media sources, and I'm not even going to say who they are, but you hear from different media sources that one is Jalen Hurts, they put all the weapons around him, and Howard Roseman did a great job during the draft and leading up to before the mini camps come around. But did they build up for him, and now it's for him to lose? Then the next week is, oh, Jalen Hurts he's not going to be who the Eagles think they're going to be. And it keeps flip-flopping. Me last year, I stuck up for the man because I believe that he can be that Super Bowl that we need here in Philly. So you having the most insight in the clubhouse with the team, what are your thoughts on Jalen Hurts and what do you expect from him this season?
Yeah, I mean, I don't, it's not based on anything that anybody outside is saying because I don't care what anybody outside is saying, nor does anybody with the Eagles care what the outside world is saying. And we have a group of skilled position players that are really good now with A.J. Brown on the team with some fortification at tight end. The offensive line is really strong. And I think that Jalen made strides last year. And then we got to the playoffs, and he struggled against a team that took away the run. And ultimately, that is going to happen. I've been in Philly since the days of Randall and Michael Vick and Donovan and Carson, who was very mobile. And ultimately, Randall probably didn't have the pieces around him, but wasn't good enough from the pocket. Michael Vick really wasn't good enough from the pocket. Donovan, absolutely good enough from the pocket. And if Donovan McNabb were the Eagles quarterback right now, the Eagles would be the Super Bowl favorites. And so what Jalen has to prove is that he can win from the pocket. Now, look, during the regular season, the Eagles will slice and dice and mix it up and attack defenses in a bunch of different ways. And Jalen's multi-purpose skills, his multi-dimensional skills, very much an advantage. But ultimately, teams will take away that run, and Jalen will have to win from the pocket. And that's something that he knows he's got to get better at. That's something the team knows. It has to scheme better to give him opportunities, throwing lanes, vision. And so that's the big test for Jalen. Taking that next step. The great ones, the Russell Wilsons, who's got great mobility, right? He wins from the pocket. Lamar Jackson has not been able to win from the pocket. Kyler Murray has not been able to win from the pocket. So at the end of the day, in my opinion, quarterbacks have to win from the pocket. This season is not a everything is about Jalen kind of season. Because we all know that it looks one way on paper right now. It very rarely goes the way you think it's going to go in May, June, July. we'll see. But certainly the Eagles have done a really nice job working around Jalen, building things up around him. He's worked very hard. Everybody loves Jalen, and we want to see him have great success. If Jalen Hurts is playing great football, the Eagles are winning a ton of games, and that's what it's all about.
Well, there's one thing I want to flip it over to before I turn over to Fuji, because again, he's fired up, and I know he's dying to ask 50 million questions. But there was a priest that came up on the Eagles website, and it talked about them trying to now branch out over to and identifying Australia, New Zealand, and Ghana as emerging markets for the league. And I picked up on this today. For those who want to read it there on the screen, they can see it. Also, you can go to PhiladelphiaEagles.com and see it firsthand as well. But I wanted to bring something up because in case, which is ironic as I'm watching this, we here at Broad Street South, as I bring up the map, as you see there, if I can get over this screen here, there's Australia. So if you guys need help there from Australia, and then there's Africa, we got you covered. Because we have Eagles fans that listen to the show over through Kenya and over in Australia as well. So, and as you can see over in South America and all over the U.S., not like you guys obviously need to help, Dave, but we wanted to kind of throw that out there because it's ironic that I saw it. And then for us, the following that we have is actually pretty neat. So I just thought it was kind of hand in hand with you coming on tonight.
Yeah, no, I think it's great, and we can use all the help that we can get, and it's kind of going to take a lot of different factors to build the NFL into a global game. It's a tough sport for the international community to understand. Soccer obviously is much more global, basketball much more global. So, the NFL is trying to become a global entity. And, we've made a really great inroads in London, throughout the UK. There have been in the past some efforts in Germany that have been successful. The NFL is playing in Germany this year. South America, there's some games. So, pardon me, rolling it out to Ghana, there's obviously the Eagles have a presence on the roster from Australia, led by Jordan Mailata. New Zealand, we'll see. It's going to take a long time. And to use my dad joke, we'll see how long it's going to take to become to make the Eagles, to see a bunch of Eagles fans in Ghana.
Well,
look, to be honest with you, I just want to get some road trips out of it too, man. I want to go over there and help the education.
Right.
That would be fun. That would be a lot of fun, especially Australia's already a party within itself, and things will hopefully get back to normal there as well. But that would be, I think, for Eagles fans in Australia would be something else. That would be probably as crazy. Mexico's not going to happen.
I think Eagles fans anywhere is crazy.
It is. They were, when I will tell you this much, when they came down here in 2018, year after winning the Super Bowl, and Nick was obviously on the team back then, I can't tell you how much, and I say this very sarcastically, how the Florida fans could not stand the chant by Saturday morning, because when they arrived on Thursday and they arrived on Friday, at Clearwater, on the beach alone, you could not walk 5 feet or pass by a hotel without hearing the Eagles chant. And for me, it was great because it was like being back at home, even though I live down here now. But it was like being at home, and you could just hear people, again, you're going to hear it all weekend long. And even when they were losing, still at the stadium, you can still hear it. So, the Eagles fans travel well. And with that, I'll flip it over to the Godfather.
Okay, Godfather, let's do it.
All right, Dave, I want to thank you for coming on. We do appreciate it.
My pleasure.
I want to jump on right in the front office. I believe there was an article that came out this week about Howie, where Jeff Lurie's pretty much just letting Howie run wild with all these fantastic moves that he's pulling off. Can you touch on that a little?
Not really. I mean, Marcus Hayes wrote what he wrote. If you really think that an owner doesn't have any say on the team, then you really don't know how it works. Howie, it's always been collaborative. Howie gets his information from all these different people in the organization. Howie's the one who makes decisions, tough decisions. But Jeffrey signs off on everything. So,
right.
I didn't really understand the purpose of that article, but I do agree that it's been a really fun off season. It's been a productive off season on paper. And Howie's made a ton of great moves, but he can only make those moves with the help of those around him. And I think that you can see how impressive the Eagles organization is to other teams, because other teams keep coming to the Eagles to take pieces to add to to make assistant general managers in Chicago, in New York, in Pittsburgh, in Cleveland. There's, Andrew Berry's now the general manager. Catherine Raish goes over there with a promotion. So, the Eagles are, I get it, only one Super Bowl, but from a standpoint of kind of year in, year out success with Jeffrey, it's been pretty impressive. And I'll say this, every team goes through that down period. The Eagles went through a really down period. Won the Super Bowl in 17, playoffs in 18, won one game, almost won the second game. Playoffs in 19, lost. Really bad year in 20. And then, so how long is it going to take to come out of that? Well, it took 1 year. Eagles back in the playoffs in 21. Now we're looking at a team that's got a lot of pieces in place to have success in 2022. 2 first-round draft picks next year. 3 picks in the first 2 rounds the year after that. A young roster. It's going to be, they've been able to navigate the salary cap. So I would say that whatever the Eagles are doing in the front office, led by Howie, is working really well. So those kinds of articles, I get it. It's good clickbait. It's good conversation, but I don't care to speculate, and because I know how it runs, and it runs really well in the organization.
As far as a running back with Miles Sanders, Kenny Gainwell, and Boston Scott, do you possibly see the Eagles making another pickup before the season kicking off in September?
I mean, I think it's always possible. I think running back is the easiest position to add. They don't have the big hammer running back that they had last year with Jordan Howard, who, by the way, is still out there. They do have some young running backs they want to take a look at, and we'll see. But I think you need to have 4 running backs over the course of a 17-game season, and they'd like to see somebody else emerge. Add to that, Miles is scheduled to be an unrestricted free agent after the year. Boston Scott is scheduled to be an unrestricted free agent after the year. So there's a lot of moving parts at the running back position. And look, I think as we've seen throughout the offseason, and we saw this past week with James Bradbury, there's always a possibility of adding players. So yeah, I think that's a possible thing. But I think for right now they want to see what they've got. We'll see what happens when the pads go on in training camp.
I believe with the defensive schemes now, with all these great parts and how he's done on defense, playing from a 4-3 to a 3-4. I'm sure Jonathan Gannon's just going to mix it up. And can you dive in and possibly?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to that. I don't know. I don't think I can say I'm sure about anything, because the way Jonathan spoke the other day, he said he's going to keep the scheme the same and just hope that the players execute it more. Now, along with that, you want to play to your strengths. The Eagles' strengths, they have some edge rushers like Hassan Reddick, who, are not traditional 4-3 ends. So how will they scheme it with Hassan? That's a big question mark. Obviously, they brought him in to rush the quarterback. The Eagles ranked 31st in the NFL last year in quarterback sacks. They have now, I believe, a better set of cornerbacks than they did last year. I think that Bradbury is an upgrade over Steven Nelson. So I think but I think you attack weaknesses, and we'll see what he does in week 1 against Detroit. Maybe different than what he does week 2 against Minnesota, and then what's he going to do against Carson in week 3? So I do think what all of these additions, and it's Reddick, and it's Kaiser White, and it's Jordan Davis, and it's Nakobe Dean, and it's James Bradbury. It gives the Eagles some ability to be versatile. And I think Jonathan will explore those opportunities. And the return of Brandon Graham is really huge, too.
As far as Carson Strong being added as an undrafted free agent, do you possibly see him giving Gardner Minshew a run at number 2?
No.
Just like that.
Maybe someday, but no. Gardner Minshew's won. How many games has Gardner Minshew won in the NFL?
Yeah,
a lot, right? And how many passes has Carson Strong thrown in his career in the NFL?
0.
Yeah. So do I see him vaulting up as an undrafted player to be the number 2 quarterback on the Eagles? No. I just want to see if he's good enough to make the team.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I mean, I know everybody's in love with him because he had a lot of numbers at Nevada, but he hasn't done anything in the NFL. I'm not one of those guys are going to be stars before they play in the league. I like to see them put their uniforms on and see what they do.
Absolutely.
He's a big, strong kid, big arm, it's good stuff, but have to
prove it on the
translate
field.
to the field.
Yeah, Gardner Minshew is a good quarterback, so I don't. Yeah, that's not. I mean, maybe he's a 3, Carson. Maybe he wins a job, but let's just make the team first before we start slotting into the number 2 spot.
Putting the cart before the horse.
That's right. I know you're excited about it, Godfather, but I don't. You got to just see what he can do when he gets into camp. All of this, and by the way, everything. So they're going to open up practice for 2 days when OTAs begin, and everybody's going to make their hot takes.
Yep.
And there's no pads on. There's no contact. It all changes. There was a running back years ago named Lorenzo Booker, and he weighed like 165, 170, and he came over from the Dolphins, and he was so good in training camp, in preseason, in off season. All the spring workouts, and wow, once he got to the training camp, the pads went on. He was a totally different player. And I remember walking into one of our personnel guys' offices, and I said, "What happened to Lorenzo Booker?" And he holds his hand up, and he goes, "Like you can blow him over." That's how lucky.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So all of this stuff, all of this exciting projections, I get it. It's fun, but it all changes when the pads go on. And to have Gardner Minshew as your number 2 quarterback, that is a treat. I mean, that is a luxury because as we saw last year when he had to play, he's still a good quarterback who could start on a lot of teams.
Stepped right in and proved it out.
Right in. Yeah. So hold off on Carson Strong until he does something, please.
All right.
No, by the way, I forgot to mention before I have Aaron come in as well. Chris Sack, which is a great friend and also a great friend of the show, he wanted me to let you know to say hi. And he also said he was at the Craft Wine and Beer Festival with you a couple weeks ago there at Citizens Bank Park.
Yes, he was. We had a great time. Green Legion podcast. It was a good time. And they're just like you guys. They do a lot of great work and spread the Eagles love around the country. So we appreciate them. And they're a bunch of great guys and they've really done a good job. So Chris Sack is an A+ guy.
Yeah, he is. It's a lot of fun. I love watching him and Murph on Bud Light Baseball Brunch because they do another outstanding job there before the game. So the guy's always constantly busy, and I try to get him on tonight, but I know he had a film for the upcoming show, so unfortunately he didn't get on there. But I did tell him if he has a moment, if he can jump on with us, so maybe he'll end up chiming in before you end up taking off. But Aaron, if you have a question, sir.
Yeah. Great seeing you. Great meet you, Dave. It's Aaron, Open Gym Podcast. I just wanted to touch on, obviously, it's a lot happened this offseason. A lot of new acquisitions defensively, offense. We know that Jonathan Gannon definitely has to prove himself essentially now that he has the adequate weapons to be able to do what he said he's able to do. But I'm going to stick to the offense because we all know it starts and ends with the quarterback. Jalen Hurts, this coming year with all the added weapons, we already know one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. Getting younger, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, a lot of weapons that can be utilized and really make a run at this thing this year. I just wanted to get from you, what is your realistic expectations for Jalen Hurts this year, and then also what do you need to see for you? Obviously, the Eagles have to make their own decisions, but what do you have to see for you to make you say, this is my quarterback going forward as far as this season?
Well, yeah, I'll answer. Let me first touch on Jonathan because I want to make sure that people understand Jonathan. Whatever you think of him. Last year, the Eagles allowed 18 or fewer points in 10 games. And I know that you can talk about the quarterbacks they played and all that, but that was the most in the league. So that's pretty damn good. All right. And that defense was really good against Atlanta at week 1, was dominating against the Niners in week 2, and then Brandon Graham went down. So I get it. He doesn't blitz as much as everybody wants. It's not exciting, but the Eagles also scored 5 touchdowns on defense. So they were able to go the other way with it. So just, Jonathan Gannon, for the first time he was a coordinator, based on that, that's pretty impressive. As for Jalen Hurts, all right. So as for Jalen, look, I mean, you want to see growth, and I talked about it a little bit earlier. Growth in the pocket, good decision making. Very few turnovers. There were too many turnovers in the playoff game in Tampa. And you want to see the Eagles win, and you want to see him make big plays in the fourth quarter, and just be. We already know he's a great leader. We already know he's dynamic. I think the Eagles ranked 25th in the league in passing last year, so that number's got to get better. So I think from a throwing standpoint, you want to just see more from Jalen Hurts. And as far as him being the quarterback moving forward, I think if you have that natural growth, I think that'll be enough. If he improves as much as he did from year 1 to year 2, if he improves as much in year 3, from year 2 to year 3 as he did from year 1 to year 2, I think everybody will be really happy with Jalen Hurts.
Because I only asked that because it's a growing debate out there on Twitter and everywhere else, radio stations, things of that nature. The biggest thing is we know the Eagles. I'm talking Sixers. The Eagles made the playoffs last year just being able to rush the ball, and the growing debate right now is they have to at least win one playoff game, or that's Jalen Hurts isn't the guy, or is he the guy? Rather, they win or don't. And me personally, I'm more of it's about how they go into the playoffs, and if they was to lose, how he played in that game. Because if you're telling me he's putting up 30 points and then at the end of the game the defense just doesn't lose it, or the other team goes down and win the game, then I feel like that's, like you said, that showed the growth, that showed the game grew over the year to trust them going forward. So I just wanted to get that from you as far as what side that you lean when it came to do Jalen Hurts has to win a playoff game this year for them to trust them or not.
I'm not. Aaron, I ain't touching that one, babe. No way.
Listen, I'm the one that I throw them questions out there, but I understand. I got you. So
you can throw, and I'll take any question, but I like I said, just show growth and win. And there's no magic formula. It's not. The team doesn't think that way. The team doesn't like sit there and go, "Hey, he's got to do this." Honestly, the focus really is on let's go win the Super Bowl this year. That's the goal.
Absolutely.
That's always the goal. It's not a referendum on Jalen or on Miles Sanders or on anybody. It's just let's go win as a football team. I think that's what everybody wants.
No. We have before Ryan, we can't hear you.
You're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Dave, again, thanks for being on. Everybody's sort of stealing my thunder here with all the topics that I wanted to talk about, but I mean,
it's okay. I'm enjoying the view.
Offensively, I think we can all say that the Eagles are going to be solid.
You would think so. Again, Ryan, though, things never work out exactly as you think they're going to work out. Who would have guessed last year that the Eagles would lead the NFL in rushing offense?
Correct.
Right.
Nobody. So,
hey,
I agree, though. It looks like they should be good on offense.
Last summer, before the season started, I said that the Eagles are one of the top rushing teams in the NFL if they stick to it. That would be their bread and butter. But with all that being said, on the offensive side of the ball, I think I read somewhere where overall last year they were 19th, like overall. Where do you think defensively that they really need to improve upon for them to turn that corner? Because I think it's going to come down to them and the Dallas Cowboys for the division. Let's just take Washington and the Giants side of the equation. Where do you see on the defensive side of the ball that they're really going to have to turn that corner?
Pressuring the quarterback, 31st in the league in quarterback sacks last year. They've got to turn up the heat. That will create more takeaways and get the offense back on the field. So I think that was really one of the focus, again, with Hassan Reddick, getting Brandon Graham back. Nakobe Dean has some off-the-edge skills. Kaiser White has a lot of speed. Kyron Johnson has a lot of speed. They'll mix up the scheme, I'm sure, up at the fronts a little bit. But, yeah, getting to the quarterback is essential. Look, what Jonathan tried to do defensively last year, they didn't give up big plays. It was painful at times. I get it, watching teams slowly work it down the field. But the Eagles didn't give up big plays. They were, I think, 9th in the league against the run. but they didn't get to the quarterback. So that is the objective for the defense. You've got to be better in pass rush situations, and you've got to take the football away more. And so I think that's kind of been the focus of the defense in the offseason.
And to follow up to that, everybody keeps talking about Jalen Hurts, Jalen Hurts, Jalen Hurts. If he does not perform this year, because they already gave him last year, they already know what he can and can't do for the most part. If he underperforms this year, do they start moving away from Jalen and look for the quarterback of the future?
I think it's. I mean, I'm going to go with what the Godfather said: is Carson Strong.
We already got him here.
I don't know, man. We don't think that way. We don't think that way. You expect success. I mean, if things. I will give. Here's one thing I'll tell you. I give Nick Sirianni a lot of credit because I think last year at this time, pretty much nobody really believed in Nick, right? Like he'd had the press conference. Everybody's like, "Well, this guy's not prepared for the job." All of a sudden, the Eagles are 2-5. They turn the season around. They changed the offensive scheme. Really impressive. So the team does not ever go in saying, if this guy doesn't work, we're going to go do that. You leave that you prepare for success. You give players every chance for success. And then if it doesn't happen, then you have plenty of time to spend the offseason and strategize and look to upgrade positions. So everybody's going in with the idea that Carson's going to have not Carson Strong, that Jalen Hurts is going to have a terrific season. And the guys like Carson and Sinnett and Gardner will all grow in the offense too. So, but again, it's really like it's May. It's May. It's the end of May. So, I mean, they're just trying to figure out what players can do right now in the offense, in the defense. It's not so they're not looking like, hey, wow, what's going to happen in 12 months from now? Where are we going to be? I mean, the NFL is all about this moment because you don't even know your job security. If the Eagles have if the season goes sideways, who knows what's going to happen? And so you try to do everything you can right now to prepare for success.
I mean, we talk about players. I'm sorry, we all know in the defense, it's one glaring hole that's still there that's talked about, and that's the safety position. We know we have Anthony Harris returning, Kayvon Wallace is still there, and they love Marcus Epps. What do you think the Eagles? What do you think the Eagles should do, or what do you think the approach they're going to take going into next season as far as addressing that? Do you think they stay there with using those guys, or acquiring someone by a trade or whatever is a real option?
Yeah, so I mean, they have limited cap space at this point. I think they really want to take a look at Marcus a lot. They like him a lot.
Yeah,
I think they want to see if Kayvon can step up. Aaron Maven, if they want to see if he can play. But look, we all know how he's going to keep his eyes open, and there's the possibility that somebody comes free out there that they can add. But for right now, again, we're in May still, so they're going to go with what they have and hope for the best. But they also have a list of players that are available now on the streets. They have a list of players they think will become available when cuts are made. So you always prepare for certain things happening. But right now, I mean, they really do like Marcus Epps a lot. He played a bunch of snaps last year, I think 40% plus of the snaps. So, you probably need 3 safeties like the Eagles used last year.
Yeah.
And we'll find out if some of the young guys can step up. Kayvon Wallace, hey, it's time for him to step up. 4th-round draft pick.
Absolutely.
3rd year. It's time for him. It's a kind of a make-or-break season for Kayvon.
Right.
I wanted to, first of all, apologize to a lot of the folks out there because this is where sometimes it gets frustrating with YouTube and it gets frustrating with Facebook because when you play a song, and no matter if you say if it's available on public domain, man, do they throw that quick video block on you. So for those who are not able to watch it tonight, you'll be able to catch a replay on BroadStreetSouth.com, which we own. So you guys will be able to watch the replay and make your comments then. But once again, this is why I say in the very beginning, and there's times where it drives me nuts because as I look, it's telling me only I can see it. And I told everybody to kind of refresh their browsers. But if you can't see him, he's kind of hard to say it. But again, this is the life of Facebook because they have nothing else better to do. And this is why I try to get away from it for that simple reason. because it's amazing. They want you to pay $1 billion for 1 minute of something, and it just drives me nuts. So for everyone else, hopefully you'll be able to hear you will be able to hear the entire audio download of the show through BroadStreetSouth.com. But again, you'll be able to watch a replay also on BroadStreetSouth.com, BroadStSouth.com. But I wanted to play the video since, once again, they love to block me. Not surprising. It's just the way it is. But I want to play that one video, Dave, that I was talking about earlier, and that's why I start off with one more time, because again, it throws us back to 2017, February 2018, when the Super Bowl was being played, and it's something that at least for us Philly fans, not as much as the Nepster, because he's a KC fan, so don't hold it against him. But this is just that video that makes you want to have just one more.
He steps up. He is going deep. And it is caught by outside Jeffrey for
Silly question. Can everybody hear it?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
first down to the end zone. Caught. Touchdown, Hogan. Brady lost one for Gronkowski. Reaching for it. Touchdown. They look unstoppable right now. Fires, slant, touchdown! Zach Brady gets hit, the ball is out, and Philadelphia has it. Oh, there is that turnover. We fight for it.
Thank you, God.
Oh, wow.
Is everybody crying right now? Everybody's crying.
Yeah, Fuji, yes. It gets them every single time.
Oh, look at Ryan's crying for sure.
But Dave, I want you to explain to everybody here the feeling. You've been with the Eagles for a long time. You've written tons of articles about the Birds and been with them for the longest at this point. I want you to describe in your own words the feeling of finally saying that we are Super Bowl champions and what it meant for a city that's been dying to say it for so many years.
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing. The whole week was great in Minneapolis. It's a ton. When you go to the Super Bowl, it is a ton of work. So I've been on the losing end of it back in 2005 to 2004 season, and you kind of go away. It wasn't very much fun. And I was in the press box, and that last pass falls incomplete, and I was completely unprofessional and jumping around. I think I nailed a couple people with my elbows. I finished up a really lousy story that I wrote because I knew nobody would read it anyway. Everybody was out partying, and I ran down to the field and just, I didn't take my phone out. I didn't record anything. I just wanted to kind of just stand there and look at all the confetti. I scooped up a bunch of confetti to save it, which I did, and then I went into hugging people, a lot of my teammates and so forth, and it just was amazing. It was just amazing. I kept waiting though for somehow the Patriots to get one more play. I just felt like the referees were going to do that. And then I went into the locker room and somebody handed me the Lombardi Trophy, and I had been dreaming of that moment my entire career, and I momentarily forgot what to do with it. Like, how do I hold it? Hold it above my head? What do I do? I was like, oh my gosh, the dream has always been to hug it like it's the most beautiful thing ever, and kiss it, which I did. I gave it a big kiss. Not thinking that like 80 other people had done the exact same thing.
Exactly.
By the time the parade came, I was deathly sick. I was like so medicated for that parade because I had been so sick. But then we went to just an unbelievable party, stayed up all night, had my kids were with me. It was really amazing, and what it meant was, I said it like I have two children. And I love them to death and more than anything, but that was the greatest day of my life because until the Super Bowl parade, when I was the MC of the parade, it was and I say this, winning the Super Bowl was in a kind of quasi joking way, more emotional for me because I didn't have to wait 52 years to have kids. And it was much easier to have children. So it was everything. And then what it meant to the city was it really shows you how important sports is from a civic standpoint, how everybody's, no matter where you are, what you are in life, whatever, man, woman, child, it brings people together for a common cheering interest, rooting interest. And so that's what winning the Super Bowl was. And Philadelphia showed what a world-class sports city it is, with the way it celebrated that Super Bowl, the way the city conducted itself. Those seeing videos like that, even though what are we 5 years later, 4 years later, 4.5 years later, it still brings tears to people's eyes. And I remember standing up for the parade and making sure to mention that this wasn't just for the people who were watching the parade; it was for every single Eagles fan who's ever been. And we've all had, moms and dads and uncles and aunts and people who are friends who are no longer with us, who all they wanted was an Eagles Super Bowl victory. So it was for all of us. It was for everyone. And, it was a truly remarkable sequence of many months. And then you have to turn the page and get ready for the next season. So everything from that, the ring ceremony, showing the ring to people, all just amazing. And I'm just glad to have lived it, experienced it, and I'll treasure those moments forever.
No, I will say that because it is Super Bowl 52, yesterday I was able to get to that age number. So this
Happy
year,
birthday.
Thank you. It'll be the commemorative year that I'll remember the Super Bowl just because of the number itself, 52. So it now, hopefully everybody look forward to 52 as a much more meaningful thing. And on the flip side, and the irony was, before the Bucks went to the Super Bowl, of course, you know, you have all the pomp and circumstance leading up to the Super Bowl, so all the festivities, and then going and taking a picture with a trophy. And I said to my lovely producers in the other room, the last time I took a picture with this trophy before it was awarded to the winner, the year the draft was held in Philly, obviously in the same year, ended up winning the Super Bowl, I didn't post a picture because I wanted to wait to see if it actually happened, that the Eagles would end up doing it, and then I posted the same day. End up posting the picture for the Bucks, and of course they end up winning the Super Bowl that year, which of course now my co-host there loves to say that I'm the big Tom Brady fan, but you're down here in Tampa, so you're going to hear a lot of stuff when it comes to the Bucks. So that's the difference. But no, listen, it was for a lot of people, and obviously especially for a lot of people who passed away. You know, I remember so many people just going to the grave sites and telling mom, dad, brothers, and everybody else that we finally did it. So it did mean a lot to this entire city, and so. You know, it's great, and thanks to YouTube once again tonight. And Facebook, no one got to celebrate, but again, everybody be able to watch back. And thankfully, it's still playing on Twitter, so that's a great thing. But listen, Dave, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Again, we appreciate it. I know you're always constantly busy. Please keep doing that tremendous work that you do, because I will tell you, I am one of your biggest fans because of the content you put out there, and I look forward to it every single week.
Thank you guys so much, and I really appreciate those kind words. You've been very nice to me, so obviously, anytime you want me to come on, just give me a shout, and if I can work it out, I'd be happy to jump on.
Thanks
for coming on. Appreciate it.
My pleasure, guys. Have a great night.
You too.
Right.
Have a good holiday.
All right, man. Happy holidays. Be safe.
You too.
Yes, sir.
So thanks to well, hold on, wait. I got to do it again.
Why?
Thanks to our guest.
Why?
Thanks to our guest who ended up putting Dave here with us tonight. And I always thank the Godfather for doing amazing things. And always, it's funny because, so for everyone who listens to this audio download, I will say that every member of the team attempts to do everything in every way. Ryan always tries to help out with extending himself to try and get big name sponsors. Fuji does the same thing. Fuji ends up reaching out to a lot of people, and the word no is heard a lot more than the word yes. But it never stops us, because you can't stop, and we won't stop. It seems like an old dumb term, but it's the absolute truth. The growth that we've had is because we don't stop. And we are very fortunate now to have 18 states or 18 countries, overseas to tune into us. Not only that, but again, in Brazil and Uruguay, and 30 and now 31st state in the U.S. So we're only, some 29 or 19 or so to go, 19 states to go before we're basically heard in every state in America. So we can't do it without you guys. I can't do it without the team that I have here. And that's why I put Fuji up there on the spotlight, because he works his butt off. And I'm forever grateful because he does a tremendous job. And Ryan does as well. I know Ryan, there's times where he's got to escape away from us for a little bit to take care of things that we know of. But I'm same way. I'm grateful for Ryan. Ryan's been, he's been a pillar with the growth as well, because he's tried in every which way. And just like the rest of us, he doesn't take the word no. And if he does, then he moves on to the next person. And Nick not being here, obviously Jen, who just graduated, Nick, I did speak to him, and he's done with school, at least for the year. So hopefully he'll be back on before his junior year starts at Clemson. But again, thanks to everybody who does their part. And even with Aaron coming on, because we've had so much fun with Aaron the last 2 times that he's become now part of the show here, part of the stable of the show. And so we appreciate it. And the thing is to always collaborate with people, because you never know who knows who. And that's the biggest thing. So thanks to Dave for coming on. Thanks, Fuji. We do appreciate it. Because again,
thanks for the kind words.
No problem. It goes a long way. And Ryan, I will say, for the first time this evening, your screen didn't go into a third dimension. That is amazing.
Right.
No aliens behind it.
No,
Trying to drag in.
But thanks for the kind words, Angel. I appreciate everybody. I appreciate everybody on here. We're just like, even though we can't be with one another physically or whatnot, it's just one big happy family. And I know everybody will be there for me. I'll be there for Fuji and Angel and Aaron, whoever's involved with the show. Anybody knows that anybody needs anything, I'm always a good listener and whatnot. But I just appreciate everybody on here.
No problem.
I just thank you guys for letting me be on. Like I said, I know this is an out of season type of event, but I'm just glad you guys was allowing me on here just to join you guys, and I just sit back and just be a fan for a second. I have to break things down and stuff like that. So I just appreciate you guys just let me be a part of a moment like this for sure.
Well, listen,
Anytime.
that's what it's about. It's about us just building and continue building that growth. Because again, no one knows. It's the most funniest thing is you can speak to people at times, and you'll never know. You never know who runs into who knows who, and that's the best part because you can always refer to somebody else.
No.
I know if I have something as far as basketball related, in next year we're planning to ramp up a lot more. So Aaron, hint, hint. There'll be a lot more as far as going on here. So just to let you know, way in advance before the season starts. But no, we haven't. The only reason why we haven't gotten into a lot of Sixers talk because by the time the NFL season rolls around and so many different things are happening, it's kind of tough.
Yeah.
And since we're involved with so many different things, it's hard to do is when it comes to the NBA. This year was probably the first time that I was able to keep up a little more as far as with the games that I've had in years past because of trying to put time in my schedule to make sure I get that stuff done. So no, listen, and we'll talk because we plan to build the Sixers hype up as much as possible. But to everyone else, thank you to our sponsors, Tampa Joe's, TampaJoes.com. If you guys are looking for a serious place with a lot of fun people, great food, and a great atmosphere, please visit TampaJoes.com. Or if not, go down to 9316 Anderson Road in Tampa, Florida. Hop's coming to jump over from the airport. And when the Eagles fans are in the house, it starts in about August, actually, and runs through into December and now January with the extra games. So if you guys are in town, you're coming in from Philly, you come in from Australia, you come in from anywhere you come in, and you're visiting the Tampa area and you want to watch an Eagles game, please visit TampaJoes.com, home of the Philly to South. So Mike Klein, I did see him jump in for a second. He ended up jumping off, but I don't know exactly what happened. And again, I apologize to everyone. Unfortunately, the feed, because it's just one of those things that drives you nuts with Facebook and YouTube because they really have nothing else better to do. But thank you, Facebook. I can't thank you enough for what you did tonight. I can't. But anyways, the replay will be up on BroadStreetSouth.com so you guys can view, replay it, and watch it. And we do appreciate it. Also to... Good Lord. Brain fart. LGdirect.net. If you guys need payment solutions and or credit card terminals, please visit LGdirect.net. Larry Gilman, who the studio is named after. And also, if you need apparel, please visit LGdirect.net. Also, PhillySportsTrips.com. Vince Rizzuto and Bob are doing a fantastic job with PhillySportsTrips.com. Check out the entire away schedule for the Eagles. And yes, even if you live here in Tampa or you live in Arizona, wherever you may live, and you want to travel with the birds, go to PhillySportsTrips.com. They would appreciate it. We would definitely appreciate it as a partnership. We would. And same way with BigSargeSports.com. He's getting ready to ramp up his podcast all over again. He will let me know exactly when he gets it started. But Big Sarge has been with us for just about close to a year now at this point. And this season, you'll be able to catch Eagles Update with the Andy Kalu Show on Sports Talk 790. So that'll be fun to do this year as well. So more things are coming. Can't reveal everything, but more things are coming as we continue to grow, and we can't wait. So thank you for everyone tuning in tonight. We do appreciate it. And as always, I leave the last words to the Godfather. Godfather.
Go Birds.
Nothing else?
I'm off my game tonight. I don't know. What am I?
Are the Phillies not still playing their season?
Ring the bell.
There you go.
And I say it very cautiously because right now that team's a damn dumpster fire. Don't get me started on them.
That's right. We'll save it for next week. And by the way, speaking of next week, Mickey Morinini will be with us and Fuji.
June 14th.
Okay.
The date got switched. As
Oh,
I've been
all right.
in talks with him for the last couple days.
Okay.
Actually, next Thursday is Rochelle from
Brevet
from Boyd and Green Nation with Brandon Lee Galen.
Yep. See, Aaron, every once in a while, I got to coach him through it. It's okay, though. He'll get it. One day he'll end up getting it.
This is probably one of my worst episodes in 138. I'm off my game tonight.
It happens.
It's bad. It's bad enough. This is probably like my biggest blunder asking about Carson Strong, which I felt like crawling under this very table. And there's this. I'll admit my faults. I mean, I was just thrown off. Then ask me.
Right, it's all right. Hey, at least
I throw my hands up.
He was honest.
You asked the tough questions, Fuji. It's all right. You did your job. You asked the tough questions.
Check what's in that thermal cup.
Yeah, we'll have to check it for foreign substance.
Believe me, if it was for, never mind. I'm not going to cut my nose off to spite my face. I already did that anyway.
Well, for everyone else who likes to listen, by the way, to the coaching sessions with Gia and Jesse, the show is being moved to Monday, which originally was going to be shown off. So we started on Tuesday because we want to make sure that everyone tuned in. So now that will be shifted over to Mondays, and we'll be back to our sports nights on Tuesdays and Thursday nights. And then, of course, when the NFL season kicks off, back to Sundays and whatever days of the week, then the games will be in play. Because at this point, they're trying to get it all 7 days a week. But with all that being said, thank you once again, everyone who tuned in tonight. Thank you for those who listen to the audio side of the house and the downloads. Thank you to Australia and China and Russia and New Zealand and Africa and everyone in between. We do appreciate it. And that dad joke from Dave Spadaro is something else. So I guess I'll leave with that one. You never know what you're going to get when you're here listening to Broad Street South. So with that being said, enjoy your night, and we'll see you guys next week.
Go back.